Hi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We will wait just a couple minutes to get started, but while we're waiting, I wanted to go ahead and introduce myself and go over a couple of housekeeping items. While we're in session, know that you are free to ask questions. You can use the Q&A feature or the chat function to ask questions. You can also raise your hand if you want to use that function, but know that you don't have to wait until the end of the session to ask questions. I'd be happy to answer your questions as we go and move throughout the content. If you have something that relates to one of the topics that I've covered or have a topic or question that I haven't addressed, I'd be happy to answer those questions. I know that your time is valuable, and so I want this to be really beneficial for you. So feel free to interrupt me at any point. As I said, my name's Emily Little, and I am the Chief Operating Officer at Content Journey. So what that really means is that I get to help our clients and our team set up processes to make sure that they're successful and that we're successful in serving them. So one of the things that I focus on is creating plans, and I love planning. Whether it's social media or other forms of content or processes within our organization. So I'm really excited to be able to dive into this topic with you today. I know that for me, in a lot of previous positions I've held when I have been like kind of a solopreneur or responsible for leading an organization, and social media has just been one aspect of what I do. It can feel really overwhelming to be able to show up consistently for an audience on social media. So if that's your experience, or if you are running social media marketing for lots of different clients, I hope that this session will really give you some tools to make social media planning and social media consistency a lot simpler. That's really my goal with you today. So let's go ahead and dive in. Just like I said, like if you have loads on your plate, you may be wondering, is this even important? Like, does it matter if I show up on social media when there's so many other things that are being posted about? And so I thought it would be helpful just for us to start with the data and recognize that loads of people are using social media. They're spending a good amount of time every day on social media, and they're really using social media as a tool to vet businesses and discover new brands. And so that's exactly where it's really critical for you to have a social media presence that's consistent, because people will be coming to check out your brand. Is this a brand I want to do business with? And then as your current clients share information about your business, more people are going to discover your brand, and then they're going to check out your social media page. Is this a business that I want to do business with? And I know that one of your goals likely is to continue to find and attract new clients and to engage your current clients, and showing up on social media is a great way to accomplish those things. That being said, I know that you can likely relate to a lot of these things. These are feelings that I've had as I've been responsible for social media in previous roles that I've held. It's hard sometimes to just show up or to come up with content, especially when there are so many other things that are pressing on you in your business. And so I know that it can be really easy to procrastinate, and that sometimes whenever you're posting, you're not always thinking, how does this align with my strategic goals? And is this content that somebody else is going to want to share? Or is it just content that I'm generating because it's fast and easy? And so hopefully as we move through the session today, these things that sometimes cause us to struggle to show up on social media will have some clarity around those things, so that things that you're posting, really, it is shareable content, it's purposeful content, it's unique content, and that because we have some really great tools to help you with planning, it takes away kind of the constant pressure to procrastinate, because it just feels like the last thing you want to dive into. So if you're like, okay, but how do I even get started? Where do I begin? I like to start social media just like I do any other marketing initiative. It's really important to clarify your goals. And so with most marketing, you're going after these three things, right? Like you're wanting to build brand awareness and authority. You're wanting to cultivate your community and really connect with your current clients. and connect with new clients. And then you're also wanting to drive sales. And so here are kind of some tips as you think about those 3 goals related to your social media posts. When you're working to build brand awareness and brand authority, it's really important that you have a clear brand voice and identity that's recognizable. And so that's both like in the content, the text, and the language that you use, as well as in the visual identity that you create on social media. You want people to develop a familiarity with the things that you're sharing, the type of content you're sharing, the type of look that the content has, so that when they see it again and again and again, they grow to trust it. And I also think it's really important to go ahead and set up boundaries around, these are things that we will post about, these are things that we won't post about. The reality is that there are things happening in the world every day, and just because a new news story breaks does not mean that your business has to comment on it. Just because certain holidays happen doesn't mean that your business has to create a holiday post for those things. So you really get to decide what's in our lane, what's outside of our lane, and use those as filters. That really just brings clarity to the planning process, so that you're not so scattered and all over the place and feeling the pressure of posting all things to engage all people, but instead like really staying on brand with your messaging and letting that build awareness and authority for you. The other thing is you really want to show up where your audience is. So it's important for you to know, like, this is my ideal customer. And because of that, certain types of ideal customers use certain social platforms. You don't need to show up on every single social media platform. You really want to show up where your audience is, and use social media as a tool to build connections with your audience offline. And so we love using social media to drive traffic back to our client's website, to our website, or to capture email addresses so that we can connect with them offline, or phone numbers so that we can send text messages to them. So if there are ways that you can develop your audience so that you can connect with them offline through social media, that's really powerful for you, so that if something happens to your social media account or platform, you aren't disconnected from your audience. You want to be sure that the things that you're building, that you retain ownership of. And so being able to use social media, engage on social media, but build an audience offline is really important. The other thing that you're likely wanting to do with social media is to support sales. And so having your sales goals about, like, we want to attract new clients, this type of client. We have this new product that we're launching. We want these new strategic partners, or we're going to do these collaborations. All of those things can support your sales goals. And then again, you're going to use your social media to drive traffic back to your website to increase your sales there. Another thing to really think about is the accounts that you tune into. So the majority of the accounts that you likely follow are sharing resources with you. They're teaching you something, they're making you feel seen, or giving you a laugh. And that's because they're following the 80-20 rule. And what that really looks like is that 80% of the content that you share really should be there to educate, to entertain, to give a solution to a problem. And only 20% of your content should really be about, like, look at my business, follow my business, should be like business forward. And so while you still, in your educating, entertaining, and offering solutions, are talking to your ideal target market, your audience, right, about problems related to the solutions that your business provides, you're not necessarily being so overt in all of your posts. If every one of your posts is buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, then people are really going to tune out from that. But if you're educating them, this is a problem that I know that you have, here's a solution for that. Then you're building trust with them. You're building relationship and rapport with them. And as you do that, then it will lead to the sales, right? The next thing that I recommend is that you check out your competition. So look at people who have businesses that are similar to yours. What's working for them? Where is their audience engaging? Where are they not getting a response because of the type of social media posts that they're creating? And then also look for gaps. Like, are there opportunities that you see that they're really missing to take advantage of? And that really can help you go, okay, like, I see that this isn't working for them at all, so probably I shouldn't replicate that. Or there's a gap in what they're talking about that I could absolutely speak to. So go ahead and take that platform. But be sure that you stay aware of your competition and that you just use that as a tool to learn and better engage your own audience. I mentioned this a little bit before, but you're going to want to choose the channels that you show up on. So you can see just by looking at the slide, the type of clients, the type of people that are using these different platforms, how big the platforms are, and then you want to think through, where is my ideal audience showing up? If you serve a younger generation, they're probably on TikTok. If you serve the more boomer generation, they're likely on Facebook. And so you're going to base the social channels for your business on where your ideal target market is, and then focus on creating content on those channels. Recognizing important dates seems kind of a simple thing, but sometimes they can sneak up on you if they aren't really planned out, right? If you have a sale at a certain time every year, sometimes it can be like the week before the sale and you're like, oh, we should probably say something about this on our social channels. But if you know that now, then you can go ahead and add that into your planner. Recognizing different milestones, certain events. Yes, there are holidays. Probably like every day of the year, there is National Hot Dog Day, Book Lovers Day, Swim Lovers Day, all of these things. And so it's not a great idea necessarily for you to fill your social media platforms with content around every single holiday, but to identify these are the dates that are really important to our business and our clients. And we're going to take time to create some robust content around those dates. So that will help fill up your social calendar. Then I think that this is really encouraging. So hopefully this is like good news for you. You don't have to start from scratch. The reality is that you likely have a lot of assets that can be repurposed and used on your social media platforms. We highly encourage you to do that because creating content is a lot of work, right? So if you're sending out a weekly newsletter, that takes a lot of time to put that together. Break that up into different social media posts and utilize that in more than one place, because some people are going to be reading that content in their inbox. Other people are going to find it on your social media platform. Either way, that way you're not having to duplicate your efforts to create more and more content that maybe be missed by a lot of people. It's a great idea to be able to repurpose and utilize all of your assets. So now we're going to jump into kind of the fine details of all of this. My goal is really to move us off of my slide deck and into my wonderful spreadsheet. So most of the people that work with me know that I love a spreadsheet so much. And when it comes to social media planning, I do all of my planning inside of a spreadsheet. So I've created a resource just for you. I'm really excited to share it with you. I think it will make your planning so much simpler, and it goes a lot smoother using this tool, at least for me. And so while a spreadsheet can't solve all of the problems, I think it'll be really helpful and help you overcome a lot of obstacles. So I'm going to walk you through kind of some of the nitty gritty. So I like to move kind of from, okay, we've gotten a lot, we've set our goals, we have important dates kind of outlined, and now we're going to dump all of that information into our spreadsheet so that we can use that as we're planning moving forward. So I like to go from broad strokes really into the fine details, and you'll see that progression even more as we work through these next few slides. So every month, I think it's a great idea to establish a focus. So we have a business that we're working with that February is their launch month. So their focus for February is really building awareness around their brand and launching a new service into the marketplace. So that's our focus for February. Just like in January, our content journey knew that people were really thinking about planning, right? And they're thinking about the year ahead. How can we make this a great year? Creating social media plans is likely something that either was done in late December or is happening now. And so as you're working to plan the year ahead, we're thinking through how can we support businesses to have an amazing year? And that's one of the reasons that we're having this webinar today. So thinking through like what products are particularly timely at a certain time of the year, what service is particularly helpful to your clients at a certain time of the year, what problems are your clients having at a certain time of the year that you can say, okay, if I run a handyman company, I know that come October, people are going to be thinking about cleaning out their gutters because all the leaves are falling. So one of the focuses I want for October is like seasonal cleanup, right? And winterization and preparation. So think about your business and go ahead and say, like, for each month of the year, establish a focus. This is the overarching focus for that month. And your strategic goals will really help identify what your monthly focus is as well. And then identify timely assets. If you create a newsletter every week, then be sure that that's broken up and shared on your social media calendar. If you publish a podcast once a month, be sure that you're taking that podcast content and you're repurposing it and sharing it throughout. So go ahead and note on your calendar, I know that I'm going to have this podcast guest, so I want to promote that before, I want to share their content after. Note the important dates. So you've already taken time to kind of identify that. Now you want to plot that out on your calendar so that you don't miss things that are important for your business. Determine a posting cadence. So again, posting certain amounts based on your audience can really be helpful. For Content Journey, we know that a lot of times people that we're posting for aren't available at certain times of the week. So if we are working with a client that is focused on commercial architecture, let's say, we know that the clients that are looking into building new buildings likely are running businesses all day long. So they are looking at social media content in the evenings and on weekends. We have another client that their primary target market is stay-at-home moms. They likely aren't really available in the mornings or the evenings, but they are free all day when their kids are at school. And so we want to post content for them in the days, but probably not on the weekends because, again, their hands are full. So think about when your audience is available and let that drive your posting cadence. Another thing that I think is really helpful in content planning is selecting certain content types. And so what that looks like is, like, you may say on Mondays, I'm going to answer frequently asked questions that we have. On Thursdays, I'm going to address a pain point that clients regularly have. Or sometimes you'll see things like Monday mantras or Tuesday tips or things like that that are kind of fun and playful. But just identifying different content themes can help you. Like, one of the ways I love to think about this is if I know every Thursday I'm going to address a different pain point that one of my clients has, then I only have to come up with 4 pain points post for a month, right? And then I'm done. So I just have to think through 4 of the common problems that our clients have, write 4 simple posts, and then Thursdays for the whole month are done. And so sometimes just breaking your content up into different types can really help you fill up your content calendar. So real fast, I want to go ahead and give you a sneak peek. This is kind of the look of the spreadsheet that, this is the first page anyways, of the spreadsheet that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So you can see all those things we just talked through. For every month, you're going to type in your focus, outline your key dates, set your strategic goals, identify any assets that you have. There's also some space on here to say, okay, what's the focus for each of these days going to be? On Mondays, we're going to share client reviews. On Tuesdays, we're going to talk about industry insights. And then you can list out all your hashtags. I really recommend doing that because then whenever you go to schedule them, you can copy and paste that section so that you're not having typos and having hashtags in your social posts that aren't spelled correctly and then don't result in people following. And then I love to just keep like a space to keep ideas as things get going, and I'm going to talk about these tools with you later. And then there are multiple pages in the spreadsheet for every month, but this is kind of the page to set your structure. So one of the things we talked about is how often should you post? I know when it comes to social media, there's a lot of talk about algorithms and how the algorithms are constantly changing and who knows how to master the algorithms. You can invest a lot of energy in figuring out how to master the algorithms, but I am not convinced that that's going to be super beneficial to your business because it's constantly fluctuating. And so rather than getting bogged down by that, you really want to focus on how can I consistently show up, what's within my bandwidth, right? If that looks like posting twice a week, that's awesome. twice a week is better than not having a presence on social media. So think through your bandwidth and then think about kind of the best practices. So this helps you have a sense of, on each different platform, how much are you needing to post, and then try and post with that same frequency if you have the capacity to, so that you can build an audience on social media that you can also connect with offline. The next thing you're going to do is to write your captions. So I do that in some other parts of the spreadsheet that I'll show you in a little while, but it's really important to remember whenever you're writing your captions that you have a very short span to be able to capture people's attention. Think about yourself as you scroll through social media. A lot of times you may not even be reading the caption unless something just catches your eye. And so when you write your captions, they really do need to be engaging, directed at your audience. So think about how can you personalize things for your audience on social media. We recommend asking questions and including calls to action in all of your social posts. So that could be double tap if you like this, or you kind of want to work up, right? For someone that's brand new to you, they're likely not going to tag their friends and share it on their story. So putting that as a caption in every post isn't a great idea. But once someone's followed you for a while, they've done business with you, they are a customer that's engaging you on social media, then sometimes they'll be willing to share, right? They'll be willing to tag their friends in a post that you say. So vary your call to action so that people that are engaging in your social content throughout the customer journey will be willing to engage you and to respond to the calls to action that you make. The other filter that I love to use whenever I'm creating both captions and images is, would you share it? If you're writing something and you think, I would never share this with my friends, or I wouldn't share this on my own profile, then it's probably not something you want to share on your business profile. You want to make sure that the things that you're creating, your ideal audience would be likely to share with their friends. The next thing you're going to do is to create your images. So likely you're using some sort of tool to create your images like Canva. It's an awesome tool to use for social media. Within Canva and a lot of tools, you can set up your brand kit. And what that does is it says, these are the colors that we're going to use repeatedly. These are the fonts that we're going to use repeatedly. You can load in your logos so that they're on all of your social posts. But we recommend that you really stick to your brand kit. I know that there are constant different trends and things, but you really want to maintain your brand on your business profile. And so take advantage of some of the trends. Don't follow all of them, and really stay consistent so that customers can identify and trust your brand whenever they see it on social media. Some other things that you want to pay attention to is accessibility. So be sure that the colors that you're using, there's enough contrast for things to be really easy to read whenever someone's looking at your social media posts. I know sometimes whenever you use a photo and then you put text on top of that, it can be really hard at times to read whatever that text might be. So you want to make sure that there's enough contrast between your text and your images that it's easily accessible for people. Another thing that we remind our clients is that people like seeing people. So we have one client in particular that shared some photos of their team members. And those photos were shared by their team members, by their team members' friends, by their team members' family. And they saw like a huge boost in their social media engagement because they were posting pictures of real people rather than stock photos, rather than just text images. They were sharing photos of their clients, photos of their team. And because of that, it really boosted their engagement. And so the same will be true for you. Whenever someone shares a story about one of my friends, I am much more likely to share that, to brag on them, to engage it and be like, oh my God, I love them. And this is amazing, than if I just see an image or text. And so be sure that you're filling your social feed with photos of real people. I know that sometimes this can feel really intimidating, but the truth is that short form video is having a huge moment right now in marketing. And so it's important for you to get comfortable behind the camera, even though it can feel uncomfortable. Here are a couple tips just to remember. You do not need to be a pro. You do not need to have a bunch of fancy equipment. You can do it all from your phone or your computer. But whenever you're doing it, remember to be clear when you're speaking to your audience. Be sure that the lighting that you have is set up so that people can actually see your face, because it really does matter. It shows like a degree of professionalism. You also want to use captions, so that I know a lot of times, like I have my volume off whenever I'm scrolling social media. So with videos without captions, I just move right past them. If videos are captioned, then I'm much more likely to engage and watch the whole thing. Also, you want to be authentic. You don't need to cut out all the ums, right? You don't need to retake things over and over again. You can just show up as yourself. And doing so is really going to build a lot of trust with your audience. And then you want to keep it short. So that's another thing that can sometimes feel intimidating when it comes to making video is, what am I going to say? How am I going to fill this time? But the truth is, you can see on this slide that you don't really need to say a lot of things or fill up a lot of time when it comes to video. People love short video content. And so really the trick is going to be, how can you say it in the shortest amount of time so that your audience does engage with it well. And then you're ready to go live. So I highly recommend that you schedule your social media post. What this doesn't mean is that you can't post other content that is valuable on a certain day. If things are happening throughout the month and you want to share wins or new products or new developments with your business, do that. Do that in real time when it happens. But when you schedule your post, one of the things that does is it provides, like, here's a consistent beat of this business showing up on social media, right? And customers can come to really trust that. One of the things that we like to do for our clients is to vary what they're posting on each of their channels on the same day, so that whenever they're posting something on Facebook, they're posting something different on Instagram and on Twitter and on TikTok, so that if a customer engages their brand on one channel, they find something different from their brand on another channel. Then you want to think about the times that you're posting when you're scheduling your post. So 10 a.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is like the best time across all channels, but most channels have a particular time that audiences are really engaged with those channels. And so you can find, once you've selected your channels, these are the preferred times to post on those channels. The other thing you'll think about again is your audience, just like I talked about earlier. So if you're focused on people that are at work all day, then you want to post in the evening or on the weekends. Or if you're focused on people that aren't working in the day, you might want to be trying to engage to them during the daytime. The next thing is that you do want to stay engaged. So as you're posting and building a social presence, that doesn't end once you've scheduled your post. People are going to engage the things that you put out there. So you want to be sure that you're responding to comments, that you're following customers that are ideal customers, you're resharing resources, you're tagging people and things, and that you're really strategic about those efforts. But that you are showing up in a way that your audience knows, okay, this is a responsive business, and they are willing to have meaningful interactions here. And then almost every social media platform has data available so that you can see what posts performed really well, what posts didn't perform, when did my audience engage my posts. And you can use all of that data to track your growth, notice high engagement, and then look for patterns so that you can adjust your plan, adjust your scheduling, adjust the things that you're posting, adjust your content so that you can maximize your engagement with your audience. The last thing I'll kind of talk through is these are some tools that we absolutely can't live without. So when it comes to writing captions, you want to make sure that the things that you're putting out there are grammatically correct. Grammarly is awesome for that. Otter AI and Rev.com are awesome to use if you have video and you need to get it into text. They can really help with that. Bitly obviously just shortens links for you. There are a lot of other tools to do that. Writesonic has some interesting AI. So if you're interested in kind of exploring the world of AI when it comes to social posts, you might test out Writesonic. We've been playing around with it and still think all AI needs human engagement, right? Like a human touch, rather than just like, this is what the AI said, so this is what we're going to put out there. But be sure that if you're utilizing AI or something like that, Rev.com, to create like video captions, that you're going through and being sure that things were captured correctly, that you're editing those things, and that you're making sure that it captures your brand voice. For images, we love Canva, FreePic, and StorySet are also great resources for free visuals. So some of those are like drawings that are kind of cool, or graphic images that you can create in your own colors. Others are just like free resources of photos and illustrations. And then CapCut is not an online tool, but is an app that you can use for video creation. So if you are figuring out how to make reels or stories, CapCut can work really well for that. And there are a large variety of different scheduling tools that you can find. These are some of the ones that we love. We use Social Pilot, really highly recommend that. Have clients on lots of different platforms that we use for them. So we just recommend that you use a scheduling tool because it will save you a lot of time. When calendar is, there are lots of calendars like this online, but it's just one of the calendars that we go to say, like, what are the holidays that are kind of unique or coming up that we need to know about, so that we stay on top of those things for our clients. Hashtagify Me can help you find hashtags related to your industry or brand. And Link Bio is awesome on Instagram. If you are driving traffic to your website, we recommend creating a page on your website that you can include all of your links. But if you don't have a page on your website, using a service like Link Bio is an awesome way to help connect your customers with signups or blog posts that you create, or events that you want to invite them to, or even your shop if that's not integrated to your social platform. So we highly recommend that you take advantage of these tools, and that you don't work hard, but you work smart. So I will be sharing the social media content planner spreadsheet with you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out now. You can put those in the chat, or you can reach out to us on social media or via email from our website. We are a little bit over time, so I'm going to go ahead and pause our recording. And then I'll hop back on in a minute with our social calendar for you to be able to see what that looks like. But if you have any questions, I will answer those shortly. For the rest of you, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking time to dive into how to better serve your business through social media. Know that we are always available to help. If you are still like, I do not want to do this, this is a service that Content Journey provides, and we'd be happy to help you with your social media content and planning. Thanks again. I really appreciate you taking time to be with me today. Hi, I wanted to hop back on and show you guys the social media planner that I had used in my presentation. So I'm going to hop back to the front page of the planner. Know that if you registered for the webinar, I went ahead and emailed this to you. So I hope that you've explored it a bit, and that it's really helpful. If you don't have access to it yet, you can download it visiting our blog at contentjourney.com, or you can always email me if you want me to send you access to it. My email address is emily@contentjourney.com, and it's Emily, Emilee. So I just want to go over kind of how to use the spreadsheet. We went over this a lot in the webinar, but for every month, I like to set a focus, so you can just type in whatever your focus is there. The key dates that you've identified for each month, you want to go ahead and list out. The goals are really going to be your business goals, so that you're creating social content that supports your overall business goals. If you have any timely assets, if we're going to have a podcast coming up, or a blog post, or we're sending out a newsletter about this thing, go ahead and note any assets that you have. And then again, like I talked through kind of creating a content theme or focus. So if you want to talk about pain points on a certain day, or share customer reviews on a certain day, you can note that in this planner document. I highly encourage you to put all of your hashtags in this spreadsheet, copy and paste them into your schedulers or onto your social platforms, so that you don't have any typos in those hashtags. And then as you are creating and engaging with your social media audience, you'll naturally come up with new ideas. So here's a spot just for you to let those ideas land, and then you can always pull inspiration from those whenever you need it. All the tools that I talked about that I love, I've linked for you in that first planner spreadsheet. The next tab in the spreadsheet is about evergreen content. So we're probably always going to be telling people we'll give them a free strategy session, or we'd love them to sign up for our newsletter. And so rather than having to like remember that repeatedly as we're creating social content, we just dump it on our evergreen content page and know that we already have a caption and a link ready to go. So if I know I want to use this content once a month or once a quarter, or I have a gap in my social calendar that I'm like, what am I going to put there? I can always come back to the evergreen content page and pull something to fill that gap. Then I've created an individual page for each month for you. So I come back to the planner page, copy this section, and then paste that over into the monthly page. So I usually just paste it over here. You can see that I pasted no content because there was no content in that, but that would naturally give me the goals and the focus and any key dates. And then I go through and I identify, okay, this Tuesday is a holiday. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that on my calendar. The next thing I do is come in and write my caption. So whatever my caption is, I would just type it here. If I want to share different things on different social platforms, then I could create another caption here. If you need more, you can add more rows. Then I like to pull my images through so that I can see what the full layout looks like. So I just go to Insert, Image, and Image and Cell, and then I pull my images through that way. There we go. Let's X out of that. If there's a link related to the post, then I post it in there. If I have any notes, or if clients want to make any notes, then I fill that in below. So again, you should have access to the spreadsheet. If you don't, you can download it from our website. I hope that it's really helpful and makes planning a lot simpler for you. Thanks.